Let's get into my series of commute chronicles. I have to commute 2 hours round trip for my commute to work. And yes, I know that is a personal choice. And I am someone, I do not like to waste any time at all. And I'm working on my relationship with that. Like sometimes it's really okay to not have to do anything. However, if I'm going to be in my vehicle every day, 45 minutes to and from work, I'm going to make the most use of my time. So welcome to my commute chronicles, where we're going to talk about everything PA related and even life overall. So I know I have not uploaded since roughly a year, and that was due to me moving to North Carolina, moving down here for a job that did not work out, and taking life one day at a time. So let's start with, is being a physician assistant worth it? Yes. I moved down to North Carolina for a job in psych. It just did not work out. I was not aligned with the practice values and all those things there. And so in that short-term time, I had to figure out, what could I do for a job? Because I just moved to a whole different state, literally up and left my hometown, left my parents' house, and I'm like, I am already broke AF just due to me leaving PA school without having money. And so I'm very someone okay, what can I do? What are all my resources out there? And long story short, I found a company where you can basically be a PA and do home health PA work, which essentially is, at least for the company that I work for, going to Medicare and Medicaid patients' homes and basically asking them questions that are required through insurance just regarding their social determinants of health. So what medications are they taking? Do they have access to these medications? Are they having any concerns? Doing a basic physical exam, and then appropriate labs that are covered by their insurance, which include doing A1C to look at diabetes, spirometry testing for people who are smokers, all those things. So I did that. I still currently do it, but more so on an as needed basis. But I was doing that basically full time until I found the psych job of my dreams. Before I tell you guys about my psych job of my dreams, let's talk about when you are not aligned with a company. I've been a practicing PA since August of 2025. It will be a year, slowly but surely. But I've been in my newest current psych role only since February of this year, so roughly almost 4 months. But here are some signs to look out for when you need to know that you're not aligned with the company's values. One, if they care more about revenue than the well-being of patients. Obviously, working in healthcare, you're going to make great income, and obviously people want to be compensated well. But I will never work for a practice who only values dollars and not human beings. That's number one. And that was just something that I saw with that said practice. Two, no real training. And this one could be controversial. I think especially as a new grad PA, yes, I went through PA school, I went through rotations, I've done all the things, but also that transition to practice is really different. And basically, in my eyes, I won't know what the company expects out of me unless I'm taught what are the basics. And so there are a lot of jobs that will hire new grad PAs and throw them to the wolves and expect you to figure it out. And honestly, some people like myself, we will figure it out, but also not everyone is built for tough and is able to do all of that. Another value I would say is whether if you feel like you are an asset to the team or not. There are practices who take advantage of PAs because maybe they know that people need a job, so want to be without a job. But I think signs that indicate a job that's not value you as an employee is that they have you working crazy hours. They don't follow a set schedule. You might be the only provider seeing people. The list can go on and on, but those are some things where I feel I would say are red flags when it comes to getting a new job as a psych PA. And so with having such a bad experience with my first psych job, I still was very passionate about psych. I'm I have to still find at least a psych job to make sure that I do I get along with the specialty, and something did land in my lap. So I work in a partial hospitalization program with teenagers and adolescents. So it's not traditional outpatient psychiatry. It's the middle ground point between either kids stepping down from like inpatient hospitalization or residential, or stepping out from like outpatient therapy and medication management. So I like it because it has the outpatient feel. Like, I get to go in, go home every day. It's not in a hospital setting, but I do get to follow these kids for at minimum 5 weeks or maximum 12 weeks if they do the PHP and IEP program, which I would say I think is the most valuable for me, because I'm someone long term, I love to make great connections with people, build relationships. And I think no matter where you work at in healthcare, you are always building a relationship with a patient, even if it's like a short-term one. And I can definitely say confidently, like, I know I'll leave a great lasting impression on my patients. But overall, I would say being a PA is worth it because our profession is very flexible. So in the interim of me working as a home health PA and then transitioning to a Psych PA full-time, I also took a training course with Skin Click to become certified to do Botox, which is something I always wanted to do. Like, I knew when I graduated PA school, I said I wanted to get into aesthetics just because I know that is a flexible field. And although I'm in my 20s, I don't really need Botox. Botox is tea. That's a whole different story. But the PA profession just allows you to work in more than one specialty at once, and also does provide like that like safety like net to have a good work-life balance. Now, with me having to commute 2 hours round trip Monday through Friday for my current job, that does cut into my work-life balance a little bit. However, I'm on a salary, and let's say if my work is done and it's 3 p.m., I can go home for the day. I don't have to wait until 5 p.m. So it really just depends. I will say in the future, I'm definitely going to work towards either getting a hybrid day or a day off in general, but there's more to come with that story. But overall, I 100% love my job. I will say the only thing that could be annoying with being a PA is the limitations that it can come with. So it's not as easy for us to open up our own practice if we feel like we want to do that. Most states do require you to still have a supervising physician in place. However, there are some states that are allowing PAs to have their own practice if they meet set work requirements. But overall, that is a mini life update. If there's any specific topics that you guys want to see me post on my channel, feel free to comment, let me know. But I'm hoping to use my YouTube channel to kind of just provide more information about the PA profession and health and wellness tips overall, especially for my healthcare workers, because unfortunately, people who work in healthcare give so much of themselves on a day-to-day basis. I know for a fact there are a lot of people who work in healthcare who could do a whole lot better when it comes to caring for themselves. And I can definitely say, even as a Psych PA, I am on my own ass when it comes to caring for myself, because if I don't do it, who will? You can't pour from an empty cup. And I try to show up as best as I can for my patients on a daily basis. So let me know what topics you guys want to see, and stay tuned to the next episode.